Hi, Oscar. Good start on your paper. You have shown that you understand the course concepts and that you're able to apply them to a specific commercial. I do have some suggestions of how you could improve your paper. So first of all, you spelled my last name wrong. It's not an S at the end, it's a Z. No worries, but I wanted to point it out. You say some of them are very bothersome. I think you mean so bothersome. Down here, I added this comma here after the word web page. When you are introducing and using a source, or excuse me, a lead-in phrase, like according to the official Kinder webpage, just add a comma after that sort of introductory phrase. Here, you've got this long quote from the Kinder website about the company, kind of giving background, and I think that you're doing that to show the credibility of the company, which is good, because it gets at ethos, which, for one thing, I would say talk about ethos, use that word. But I don't think you need such a long quotation. I think you can maybe take part of this quotation, or you could just paraphrase it and put it in your own words. This paragraph, that one where you're discussing the ethos, is very long. I think it's too long, and I would suggest breaking the paragraph somewhere, asking yourself, what's the main idea of this paragraph? And making sure that the paragraph has only one main idea. In this paragraph, I see you talking about the company, establishing their ethos. I see you talking about the character of Humpty Dumpty and how he's not subject to copyright. I also see you describing the commercial. That's too much to go in one paragraph, so figure out how you can break that up. This analysis of Humpty Dumpty here, where is it? Down to there, you don't necessarily need to be in this paragraph, for example. That could be separate, because here's where you're really analyzing what's happening in the commercial. Like, oh, I understand why Kinder used Humpty Dumpty, because he's not subject to copyright, kids know him. Okay, that's good, but I don't think that needs to be in the same paragraph where you're just simply describing the commercial. You don't need to put this in all caps. It can just be regular capital S for Stanford, capital U for University. Let's see. Here you have terrific, but I think you mean terrifying. And you talk about the audience's feelings and emotions with this really creepy Humpty Dumpty. That is pathos. So again, use the word pathos. Use those coarse vocabulary words. We talked about the clarity of your sentences, which I think is pretty good mostly through the paper. But here's one that is just real confusing what you're trying to say. You say here that it's mainly focused for children. I think you mean intended for children. This here is a sentence fragment. It's an incomplete sentence. Something that you do several times through the paper is you have your period in the wrong place. So like here, do not put the period before the parentheses. It should be, I'm going to go ahead and fix this one. It should be work, quotation mark, space, parentheses, Carol, parentheses, period. So that period should be there. Oops, there should not be a space between the closed parentheses and the period. So make sure you've done that in the paper. This paragraph here has some repetitive ideas. The order of ideas, I wonder if you really want to go with that. You talk about, the authors deciding how to use conventions, why people should obtain profit, changing the voice of the character to make him look friendly. It seems like several of the ideas in this area have been discussed somewhere else, and so I'm not sure that or maybe you might want to reorganize how that paragraph is set up. On the works cited page, the entries themselves look good, but two things. They need to be in alphabetical order. Carroll would go before Stanford, and so on. And also, you need to use hanging indents, which is where the first line is all the way to the left, and then the other lines are indented a tab. Whoops. I just want, oh my goodness, just trying to highlight these words. There we go. So good job overall. Let me know if you have any questions.